He literally talks about it like it's Pixel World of Warcraft. It's like, truly, he's so excited for this game. But he has no idea what the selling point is. Didn't bother to get any of the other clips of Xanderhal talking about Hytale. What we can do, though, is we can pull up this website that searches transcripts on YouTube, and we can quickly just have a look at some of the times he mentions Hytale.
It's not like a development hell, gonna die out game like Cube World. A lot of people want to take that position because they...
I must say, I am not having a good one.
Don't even ask, man. Don't even ask. I don't want to put you through the pain that I'm in. Really? Wait, really? The game dev studio didn't just put out announcements that said, yeah, this sucks and we're going to fail? No way. Guys, gamers, okay? Who has been aware over the last few years of a game called Hytale, okay? Anyone know about Hytale? I've known about Hytale for a long time. I actually, at one point, I was like, well, that looks cool. Wasn't particularly, like, you know, invested in it. It wasn't like, you know, the North Star that I was following. But I'd seen it, and I was like, this looks okay. Basically, the idea of Hytale was it's sort of like Minecraft plus Roblox. I know that sounds almost redundant, but if you don't understand, there's some key differences between Minecraft and Roblox, where Minecraft is very much specifically focused, or, well, I mean, it's kind of got some modding capacity and stuff like that, but it's pretty focused on being a game in which you can do anything. You know, you can build anything or whatever. Whereas Roblox is a platform for creating games. It's almost just like an engine. And people make their own games and code their own games. And the whole thing is very user customized. Hytale essentially aimed to bridge those two concepts. Why am I explaining this? Because I want to explain where the hype comes from before we get into this. Hytale attempt to bridge these two concepts. Yeah, it's basically like Gary's mod almost. Tried to bridge these two concepts and make like a highly customizable Minecraft-esque game that went further than just the Minecraft modding. And there are a couple games that did things similar to this around the same time. You might remember if you're into these games. Okay, there's Cube World, and you remember Cube World? This completely flopped. There's just like a bunch of Minecraft clones that try to do Minecraft with something different. Cube World's like an RPG version. Tried to do Minecraft but slightly different in like some new or unique way, and all of them failed, I'm pretty sure. I don't think, is there a single Minecraft clone that like really succeeded? I understand Fortress Craft did really well because it was on Xbox before Minecraft was ported to Xbox. So any kids who wanted to play Minecraft but only had an Xbox and not a PC played Fortress Craft, and that did well. Terraria, I guess, or Castle Miner Z. Yeah, I think that was the same as Fortress Craft, though. I think that benefited from the same thing. Dragon Quest Builders, that's a bit of a more niche, specific thing. I don't think that's quite the same. Even, yeah, Terraria, I'd say, is more like a... It's less like Minecraft. It's actually more like a... like, challenge platformer or something than Minecraft. It's not actually very sandboxy in terms of, like, how you typically go about playing it. Usually you're farming bosses. You're going through the essentially the story. So yeah, so I wouldn't really put that as the same thing. I am more thinking of these sandboxy type games, customizable experience. So, you know, that's like a kind of interesting concept, right? The more, you know, customizable Minecraft. Slightly interesting concept. So you'd be like, you'd see that game and you might be like, oh, okay. I mean, that could be cool, but I'd have to see it play out. You know, a lot of it's going to be based on user content to actually be good. It would have to really succeed to like actually fulfill on the promise. So you probably wouldn't, you know, you probably wouldn't get too hyped about it. You probably wouldn't get too hyped about it. Now, Xanderhal is a special case, okay? Since as early as like 2022, and I've seen this many times. I've covered this. I've covered Xanderhal's Hytale obsession. I've mocked Xanderhal's Hytale obsession. But we're going to go back through all of his Hytale obsession because there has been some terrible news, guys. Some terrible, terrible news. So let's start here, okay? I'm just going to pull this up. Let me,
Or, I think it's called pseudo lore.
Does Hytale compare well to Minecraft? Is it worth me trying? Okay, I'm going to play the Hytale trailer again on stream just to give you guys an insight. By the way, Hytale trailer. This trailer is 2 years old. This is not even representative of how good looking the game is now. This trailer came out, 3 years old, 2018.
So, trailers since 2018. It is now 2025. For a Minecraft clone. For a bridging of Minecraft and Roblox.
By the way, I've got a Hytale merch coming.
7 years in development for a Minecraft clone.
Came out, 3 years old, 2018. By the way, I've got a Hytale merch coming in the mail because the charity stream I did with some Hytale YouTubers.
Wow.
Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer, and you guys will understand what I mean when I say the survival block game genre is good, but it cannot stand on its own. You need to integrate a story with quests and goals alongside that to motivate you with external motivation to continue building and exploring and grinding for gear in this world. Yes, the term was quasi-lore. Thank you, Megamania. All right, let's watch the Hytale trailer. This should give you guys a good idea of what this trailer is. What I figured Minecraft would look like by 2021, back when I was 10 years old. If you'd asked, like, 10-year-old me what Minecraft would look like in 12 years, this trailer is more or less what I would have described.
Oh yeah, I guess a key part of this as well about Hytale is this is it's made by Minecraft mod devs, or like people that ran a Minecraft server. So it's just like it's not like super experienced devs making this shit. There was no reason to think this was gonna be like amazing, like crazy, you know. Whoa! Whoa! Dude, look, he's so happy he's dancing. Look at him dancing, he's so happy.
V-Raptor, after this, I'll turn ads off, and I'll do the ad break every hour, top of the hour thing.
So much promise in this game.
Ads right now, which is kind of annoying.
Look how happy he is.
Look at this.
Like, you don't need to see the gameplay, really, do you? You just see Xanderhal's reaction to the gameplay. That's all you need, really. Like, it's Minecraft, okay? Imagine you're seeing Minecraft on the rest of the screen. He's stimming, he's stimming. This is his comfort game, his comfort characters. He's stimming and rocking. Thank you for the 279, Josh, gosh, thank you. Dude, look, oh, he's really into it.
I'm rock hard right now, by the way.
He's rock hard right now, by the way, guys.
Dribbling pre-cum.
Oh. Okay.
This game has quests, explicit lore, and a story. And an end game.
So, okay. This is the dumbest shit in the world. That is not the appeal of this game. Again. So, I'm going to wind this back. So, Xanderhal was so hyped for this game. and does not understand the selling points. He does not understand what the promise of this game was, what the point of making this game was. If you wanted quests and story in Minecraft, you would simply make a Minecraft mod with quests and a story, or a custom map, like people have done for 10 fucking years. That's what you would do. Again, I will play the bit of the trailer that we missed, right? Because he does not understand the game he's excited for. Community servers.
I'm rock hard right now, by the way.
Minigames.
Dribbling pre-cum.
Extensive modding. Powerful tools. Epic adventures. Like, so this is like the one that you kind of match on. But I don't believe the epic adventures thing. I believe most of these quote-unquote epic adventures would be user content. They would be user content. There would probably be some base game stuff, but this game was heavily focused on being a framework for user content. That was the point. Oh, look at this. Watch videos together. Yeah, is this about the stories, Xanderhal? Live scripting, you see this? Fuck.
Or, you to this world. This should give.
God, I've lost my fucking place now.
I think Twitch is auto doing. Drip.
Yeah, live scripting, so you see that. It's with fucking a, you know, coding interface up here, so you can fucking code mobs. So you can code, like, enemy mobs or whatever. None of this is about fucking story, or lore, or quests. That was never the appeal of this game. I have no idea why that's what he's excited about. Yeah, exactly. This was the stuff I looked at this and I was like, oh, if they release that, that could be cool. Assuming that people actually build on it. But that was always, like, that's a lot of conditionals. Right? It's a lot of conditionals. Right, it's like, not only does the framework have to be good, it has to be released, and then it has to be popular, and then people have to use the tools in good ways to snowball that popularity by making compelling user content. So we're on like 6 degrees of fucking conditionals as to whether this game will come out and be good. But Xanderhal put everything into this game. He put, this is the game.
This game has quests, explicit lore, and a story. And an end game, an end goal, a final boss with lore and story and meaning and personality to it that we'll be fighting to beat at the end of the game.
Like, what is he on about, man? How is this what you're taking from that trailer, you fucking mongoloid?
With way more gear, way more different fighting. Do you guys want to see what the... Wow, the world already has so much character? There's 2 trailers for the game. Let me show you guys the other trailer. Hytale trailer. There's another trailer as well. Allow me to show you guys...
Yeah, he thinks it's like Pixel Wow. That's what he thinks it is, man.
A little bit more insight. This is the trailer that just came out on November 20th. That previous trailer came out in 2018. This trailer goes into a little bit more detail. Wait till you see this game's combat.
Writers come up with amazing ideas.
By the way, this game is being funded by Riot. They've been acquired by Riot, and they're being funded with full creative freedom, so Riot's not having any effect on the game's like, creation. They're just funding them, and they're putting a lot of money into it.
I love Riot.
Riot is planning for this game to be one of like the next, like their big three, right? Valorant, League of Legends, Hytale. Those are the three bases they want to.
Valorant, League of Legends, Hytale. Those are their three big projects. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. This was never one of their big projects. Ever. At any point. This was not one of their big projects. So, Max, I did go over that a minute ago, just so, like, in case people are still sort of, like, confused about where the distinction is between this and modern Minecraft. Modern Minecraft is all external stuff, okay? Minecraft does not really come with, like, mod tools or the ability to customize stuff. It is a game in which you can build stuff in the world. And then there's mods that people have, you know, they've reverse engineered the game and worked backwards and tried to put their own stuff in it. Hytale is a framework that is built from the ground up for users to be able to generate new content that is highly customized. So there is a difference. It is, like I said, it's like Roblox versus Minecraft. Like, Roblox is more of a platform, Minecraft's more of a game. So that was the promise. It wasn't about fucking endgame or lore or story or fucking meaning or personality. It was never about any of that. I don't know where Xanderhal has gotten this idea from. It's bizarre. But at this time, Riot, part of their business strategy was picking up or developing new, small, niche indie games. Or what would have been indie games. So, for instance, Legends of Runeterra. Small, low-budget card game that they put out to corner a market, or to try and get into a market, to try and infiltrate a market. Then they had all those League of Legends spin-off games. They had the, what was it? The Silas game, I think there was. And there was a Ziggs game, and a something else, I think. What else did they pick up around that time? But yeah, they were picking up indie stuff, basically. They were picking up smaller titles, putting out smaller titles. Nunu game. Echo game. Yeah, so they were putting out smaller titles at the time, and Hytale seems to be one of those. Riot's big games, their big money spinners, are their competitive games. It's their, like you said, League, like you said, Valorant, and 2XKO. The new fighting game they're making. It's not Hytale. It was never going to be Hytale. What's the monetization on Hytale? It's all moddable. You're going to sell fucking skins? You're going to sell maps?
Cover. They want Hytale for them to be their next League of Legends or Valorant. That's what they're going for here, and they're putting a lot of money behind it.
What are you smoking? What are you smoking? It was never going to be that. It was never going to be a money spinner like that. It's not a fucking anime game where they can pump out fucking titty costumes every other week and make hundreds of thousands of dollars. You fucking idiot.
And listen, I've talked to the devs for Hytale. I've talked to the devs. They are so fucking cool. They are great people.
Wow.
For one, they're super pro-trans. One of the devs, several devs, I'm sure, but I know at least one of the devs is trans. And I follow her on Twitter. I follow all the devs on Twitter. And they're just like, they're really progressive. They donated to like BLM and everything, as opposed to Notch, who was a transphobe.
Huge things
I will say base that they had Lena Rain make Pig Step the best music disc in Minecraft.
Isn't Notch now working on a Minecraft successor? Didn't he say that like the other month? Didn't he say I'm gonna make a successor to Minecraft? I mean, I guess we'll see if his one comes out.
But you know, I honestly, so far, as far as politics goes, the Hytale team step ahead of the Mojang team.
279, thank you.
Notch did do a little bit of bad press for them when it came to the politics side of things. But yeah, this is Nicolas Laurent, this Frenchman, basically explaining why Hytale is going to be fucking awesome and why he decided to give Noxy, the CEO of Hypixel Studios, a shit ton of money to make this game because he knows it's going to be good. Let's watch.
Sometimes crazy ideas. I wish we could do them all.
I'm not writing off Minecraft 2 yet. I'm alright. I don't. Obviously, I think Notch is a total fucking retard, but he did put together a good game. Okay, he did put together a good game. You got to admit it. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to him. He clearly had some kind of vision when he made Minecraft. And you know, I think there's a chance here. Because all he really needs, he just needs. I feel like maybe it depends how far he strays from the formula. I think there's a way he could do it where he basically just goes back to basics and tries to redevelop a Minecraft that could be good.
But you know, we can't focus on everything, and then sometimes we realize we're not necessarily the best studio to make these games. And that's kind of how I felt when I met
Almost
Nazi
goes down
and
like just sort of strips it back to maybe fixes things he wanted different or something, and then almost like redevelops it from where he stopped or where it started changing.
team at Hypixel. They came up with a demo of Hytale, and I right away saw that we had something special. It was both familiar but also different. Different because it's a different game. It's a different genre than what we're used to. But familiar in the way they talk about the community, the way they're willing to challenge conventions, their dedication to one game, and their commitment to make it better and better for years to come. That sounded very familiar to us, very Riot. And that's why we decided to partner with them and eventually have them join our family. I want you to know all about this, but I'm not the best person for this. So let me invite my friend Noxy to tell you about this journey.
There it is, Hypixel Studios.
Wow, yeah, they really needed this fancy-ass office, didn't they?
One day.
With the, they've got the lo-fi girl on the office TV. Wow.
Hey, I'm gonna go there.
So the story of Hypixel is a story of a collective of Minecraft modders who shared a dream of going pro and having their own.
This is the guy who mailed me this little buddy.
Wow.
See this little Quebec? This little 3D printed Quebec? He mailed me this when we did that charity stream last year. I think he also mailed me a beanie and a coaster. A Hytale beanie and a coaster this year. I might be in the mail now. I should go check tonight. Really nice guy. Really, really kind. He donated $7,000. I believe. Or no, that was
cool.
Simon. Simon Hypixel donated $7,000. I think he donated like $3,000 or like $1,200 or something like that during the charity stream we did this year. Really nice guy.
Game someday. Hypixel was very much driven in its ambition by.
Oh, yeah, Hypixel Studios. They're based in Northern Ireland. They're in Derry, Londonderry. Is the place. Very strange name, but I respect it.
The challenges
like
that we faced as modders. So when we made the game, we knew that we were making the game for modders like ourselves. Since the announcement of the game and all the attention that we received afterwards, we started the process of making some pretty big changes on our path in order to ensure that we're going to meet our community players and realize their dream of what the game can be. It's
Irish independence
pretty remarkable
will occur.
when you announce it.
All I'm saying is one day the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, they're all gonna get together and form an alliance, and they're gonna secede from the Britbongers and just conquer them actually,
So
and they're gonna split all of Britain into 3 parts. The northern part's gonna be.
You know what? This is one of like the gayest lefty LARPs. Is where you just say a bunch of like retarded shit about the United Kingdom or about the makeup of Britain, or how it came to be, or like the relationships between the Scottish and the English, or the Northern Irish and the rest of Britain. You just say like a bunch of retarded shit, and as long as it's like negative towards the English, like everyone just rides with it. It's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and it's just like the most retarded shit you've ever heard. They can just say like anything.
Eastern Northern Ireland. The middle part's gonna be Eastern Central Scotland, and the northern part's gonna be Northern Eastern Wales. Okay? And
yeah, American lefties. Yeah, of course, lefties here don't do that retarded shit. American lefties do this shit. Yes.
All right, that's what's going to happen. and I'm going to lead this great push. All right.
Any fucking like legit any Irish Republican or some shit hears him say this, they would probably fucking break his jaw. Like, let's be totally serious.
The trailer for the first time, and you know, before the game is even out, you're getting fan art, you're getting tattoos, you're getting cosplays and props. Subreddits are developing.
The British
community is just showing you so much love. It's a lot of pressure as well. So we knew that we started to need some help, and then entering into a partnership with Riot just eventually logically made sense. League came from Dota, which was on Warcraft 3, and so Hytale has come from Hypixel, the server, which was on Minecraft. And so that story is pretty unusual in the industry, and so we felt like there was a lot of lessons that we could maybe learn and advice that we could get for that journey. And so we met them way before the trailer was announced. And even back then, before, you know, we had proven that the audience was interested, Riot was interested, they supported us with advice and investment when we first established Hypixel Studios. And later when we became part of Riot Games in 2020.
What a fucking loser. What a fucking loser this guy is. Dude. What an actual fucking loser.
Then way before the trailer was announced, and even back then, before, you know, we had proven that the audience was interested, Riot was interested, they supported us with advice and investment when we first established Hypixel Studios, and later when we became part of Riot Games in 2020. So that's enough of the context.
What an absolute fucking embarrassing loser. Seriously, you should be jailed for doing shit like that, actually. You should genuinely be jailed for shit like this.
Here to tell you more about the game itself is Sean McCafferty, our COO.
Here's the good shit. Here's the content. Look how this is a newer thing they added in the world generation since the last time we saw this game, because this trailer followed a very long dark period of no update.
If you have ever blown a single vape ring, C-cot. Instantly C-cot.
This is a newer thing they added in the world generation since the last time we saw this game, because this trailer followed a very long dark period of no updates. This like these pillars they added to the to the field, the plains biome are so cool, and these little like raised like little plateaus, and like this is so cool. They added these little things as like a way to break up big open areas so they don't seem mundane and empty.
In Hytale, you create an avatar and set out to leave your mark on an immersive fantasy world. As an avatar, you have the power to reshape yourself and the world. We want to make expressing your creativity feel like magic, and to take everything we love about the block game genre and combine it with our favourite parts of classic fantasy RPGs. You'll go on adventures in a world called Orbis. Here you have the freedom to craft, build, explore, and take on challenges with your friends. Our goal is to build a world that feels immersive and inviting no matter what you choose to do.
Wait till you see the PvP. Wait till you see the PvP.
Beyond Orbis, you'll have the opportunity to compete and express yourself through minigames and other forms of social play. No matter what you and your friends are up to, we want to make sure that you'll be able to come together, hang out, share experience.
So there are completely different. Basically, what determines your class in this game is what weapons and armor you decide to use. That's how your class is determined in this game. Do you know if it's...
So look, why is this the shit he focuses on? He talks about it like it's an MMO. He literally talks about it like it's Pixel World of Warcraft. It's like, truly, he's so excited for this game. But he has no fucking idea what the selling point is.
It's cross-platform. Yes, it is completely cross-platform with mobile, PC, and console. But they have said they will not be compromising with the PC version to accommodate consoles and mobile. So whether or not the mobile and console versions will perform well, like in terms of performance, is a question. But they have said the game is very well optimized. Apparently, you can run the game at max and have it look very nice on like a pretty shitty laptop, which is pretty well optimized. It's going to be significantly better optimized than Minecraft. Also, for modders, they will be enabling modding quite strongly. They are going to, as a built-in feature in the game, give modders the exact same tools they use to make the game in the first place, and they are going to allow modders to both monetize their content through, I think, like advertisements on like the download page for their mod.
So apparently, guys, this was going to be Riot's big money spinner.
They're gonna find a way to monetize it without having to fuck over players, I think. Okay, so basically your class in the game is going to be determined by your gear, what weapons you're using, and what armor you're wearing, rather than like allocating points into different areas and then like leveling up in that area. It's going to be basically focused on what gear you're using, which I really like. And you're gonna see a fighting style with two like daggers and a big mace. You're gonna see 2 daggers versus a big mace, and see like the difference in fighting style. And there's like special abilities for each weapon too, and you'll see them on display here.
And establish your own identity. Underpinning all.
What do you think of that combat? What do you think of that PvP?
Whoa, I'm sure it'd look exactly, it always plays out exactly like this in game. Is this ableist? Yes, like there's ableist tones to this for sure.
Underpinning all.
What do you think of that combat? What do you think of that PvP? That's some good PvP, huh? How's that look compared to Minecraft? Breathtaking? Hell yeah.
All of this is a set of tools that are intended to help creators undertake the same sort of journey that we have. These range from advanced block building tools to an in-game modding interface that lets you reconfigure gameplay itself. We intend to empower you to create everything from new creatures to whole new game modes. Our goal with these tools is to both empower the existing modding community and clear the way for a generation of new creators. We want to pave the way from creative play, expressing yourself with all the freedom the bugs provide, all the way to Creative Pro, making mods and sharing them with the community.
So Hytale is a very ambitious game, but with Riot's support and some of the resources.
That's all the gameplay that they really show. But I think that gets across to what I mean by the block game genre, the block game sandbox exploration building genre can be done well. Minecraft.
Okay, so guys, that's like, I want to just sort of, I've got open on my monitor here, so the A-log that does Chud's Xanderhal segments for him didn't bother to get any of the other clips of Xanderhal talking about Hytale. What we can do, though, is we can pull up this website that searches transcripts on YouTube, and we can quickly just have a look at some of the times he mentions Hytale. So let's... What's said here?
Hytale. So I can...
reality.
I legit... Probably you're born that way, but maybe you suppress it. I think it's probably a you're born that way thing. It might be related to hormones in the womb. Yeah, so that would be a born that way thing.
I would go to bed and I would have dreams, vivid dreams I was a woman, like my whole life. And I would wake up in the morning and
I have vivid dreams that I'm playing Hytale, so I can...
reality.
I legit can understand that. I have dreams that I'm playing Hytale. Like when I desperately feel like playing Hytale, and I long for the game, particularly so. I will legitimately dream that I'm playing some like leaked beta or something, some leaked like alpha beta build of the game or some shit like that. Oof, I have those dreams too. Yeah, basically about anything I'm excited about or like interested in or like really, really want, I'll have dreams about it. Especially like in the lead up to possibly getting that thing. What's the current ETA on Hytale? Either late this year or early to mid next year.
This is August 2023.
Most realistically. Latest is late next year.
That I didn't want to be taken out of.
So it was like the dream.
Most likely.
Yeah, there was
They're ramping up
times
for
where
launch by the looks
lay
of
in bed
things.
all day and just sleep because it was.
I don't
more
have any
fun to do
insider
that
info,
and
though.
More enjoyable to me to do that.
Any day now, guys. Any day now. So we've got more here. So let's keep hearing it from Xanderhal.
and that's Hytale. I think like talking about it, as well as the fact that I've like seen, like, they're very open about the process of like how the game's being made, and that's Hytale. I think Hytale's the only game that I would feel very comfortable telling people to pre-order, because I know how it's being made. They aren't doing any like bullshit with like early release or, oh, I hit my calculator button. Any early release bullshit or anything like that. And they've been very open about like the production process of the game with like the blog posts and answering people's questions on Twitter and whatnot. Like that, like, whew, you'd think a guy who's super pro-consumer when it comes to gaming wouldn't pre-order a game like Cyberpunk, but that game's going to be a big disappointment because of how overhyped it is.
Totally
so
wrong.
Some displays today.
Totally wrong. It was disappointing to the masses, but they were wrong. They were wrong. It was an amazing game. Amazing game, Cyberpunk. Even on release, it was a great game. It was just slightly buggy on PC. You're a fucking retarded loser, poor. Probably from some impoverished background if you were playing on console.
Game. This has gone from an indie project to the next big AAA blockbuster coming in the future, and that is Hytale. Behold, those of you guys who don't know about this game, welcome to the hype train.
Welcome to the hype train. Wait, we might pull this one up. Wait, this is another Hytale segment from him. This is another he's got like multiple full Hytale segments. Oh my god.
Know about this game? Welcome to the hype train.
So he watches this same trailer again. So it's this same trailer. So this was in 2021. He's sitting there fantasizing about this game. We'll finish this bit first.
Done well. All that it's lacking is a goal. Killing the Ender Dragon isn't enough of a goal, because what are you killing the Ender Dragon for? Maybe if killing the Ender Dragon gave you a really cool weapon that made you basically a god that could fly around and destroy anything you look at, maybe like that would be cool. Maybe you could hatch the Ender Dragon and ride it around. That would be a cool, interesting reward for beating the game. Having a literal dragon flying mount, that would be awesome. Elytra, I guess, are kind of like that, but how cool would a dragon mount be? I don't know. These are just different things that I think they could potentially do to improve Minecraft. Because at the moment, I don't feel like there's a reason to build a cool house in that world other than to build it, you know?
Or play mods.
Because it's not your base of operations for anything serious. You don't have a goal, and you're like making your base of operations to achieve that goal look nice like you will in Hytale. You've got a final boss to beat in Hytale. When you're making your house, you're making your home to live in while you're brewing your potions and getting geared up for the next dungeon, so you can do a dungeon crawl for better loot, so you can go do the next story quest, and that's what Hytale's going to be like, and that's the significance of your house in a game like that. So there's going to be more reason to put more work into it. Another game that I think is very comparable to Hytale, and I know that comparing games can, you know, lead to bad things, but they all stand on their own. But I think there can be comparisons drawn between games. Every good game has taken influence from other good games and built on it, and that's what I think Hytale's doing.
It just starts as yeah. I'm telling you,
Terraria is a game where
I've been aware of. I've covered Xanderhal's Hytale obsession before because it was just so fucking absurd. It's like totally absurd. He was sucking this game dry. It's crazy.
I put so much more work into my builds than I ever would in Minecraft because I know I'm in it for the long haul. When I am beating the final boss in Terraria, it's going to be months down the road, so I've got time to build up my house. The only reason I ever find myself building up my house to look nice in Minecraft is because I've beaten the game now and I'm bored and there's nothing else to do. And that's not very good motivation. You need to have very strong intrinsic motivation in order to have fun doing that, and that's just not something I have.
So you can get their eyes for 30 minutes. A very fun and engaging gameplay experience. Thank you. Where was I going with this sentence?
Okay. So that's that segment there. Let's move to the one. This is like 2 years later. This is 2 years after that. He's watching the same trailer again. Wait. Was that?
That's not even how you do it anymore. It's even easier now, especially 6 plays.
Point to Minecraft, okay? Because it's a game that
No, this is just around that time. He was It's just when Vosh was playing Metroid, but this isn't the Mr. Girl debate. Dude, look, he's so happy. He's so happy thinking about playing Hytale. Oh, I can't wait to play this game. Oh my god. Fire sword? Oh my god. How do you feel about Vosh overall? I think Vosh is a very funny, charismatic, good political speaker. I think he doesn't actually think about politics very much, though. I don't think he actually gives a fuck. He just likes having his cult. And there's a lot of people like that. And whenever you go and watch his stream, it's like watching a church congregation. It's just like watching a church congregation. It's like he talks in... He like already has a narrative. He sees a story, sees a headline, he has the narrative, and he just goes off on his convincing, like, persuasive argument speech on that narrative, no matter what's happening, and doesn't interrogate the evidence. But he is very entertaining. He is a smart guy. Obviously total retard for all of the bizarre sexual shit he gets up to. Just because that's, like, totally, you know, shooting yourself in the foot, but hey, that's his prerogative. Wow, look at it. Whoa. Welcome to the hype train, guys. Sorry, watch the trailer. Did he say anything on the trailer?
Now has over 60 million. Very good dev team. They're very base, too, like politically. Anyway, Hytale, the game that you just saw the trailer for, this trailer released back in late 2018, December 13th, 2018, and now has over 60 million views on YouTube. It is one of the most viewed trailers for a game of all time, period. It just simply is. Here's the thing, though. When that dropped, the game had like 12 people working on it, and it was an indie project. That trailer and the hype it got a ton of fucking attention from Riot Games. And so the game underwent a big old delay, which sucked. But on the bright side, they kept us up to date on their development. And just recently, they dropped a new blog post back in June about meeting at the Riot Games studio to organize playtesting. They also got all the devs together. This is not all of them, because many of them weren't able to come to LA, or was it San Diego? I forget where, for the Riot convention thing. But this is just like a large portion of the team now working on the game. They did a big group photo. And then on top of that, the game's also going into the playtesting phase. They're getting it ready for launch. It's already been pretty heavily hinted we'll get it in either 2024 or 2025 at the latest, but it's looking more likely than ever that we're probably going to get it in 2024.
Yes, he has the gay people plus shark. He has the gay person plus shark. Yep.
But I personally have taken the conservative bet of 2025, so I'm either pleasantly surprised by it coming out earlier, which is more likely, or if it does get slightly delayed to 2025, I end up looking like I was the more realistic one, or I'm pleasantly surprised. Either way, I win. But yeah, the game, it's going well. It's being funded and produced by one of the largest game companies in the world. It's not like a development hell gonna die out game like Cube World. A lot of people want to take that position because they.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? That's an interesting comparison to make.
But yeah, the game, it's going well. It's being funded and produced by one of the largest game companies in the world. It's not like a development hell gonna die out game like Cube World. A lot of people want to take that position because they are doomer and don't think that good things can exist, but as somebody who's watched a lot of games that were, like, I literally covered a fake game on my channel not too long ago. Like that day before game, I literally, like, did a video exposing a hyped up game that was very obviously, like, fake. Spoken to the dev team in particular, the company behind it, very loving of their fan base. They've, like, literally appeared on charity streams and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's fucking great. They're very like caring for the community that likes this game, and in fact, the community that is behind this game, or not behind this game, that loves this game, is so dedicated to it that this music that you guys hear in the background of my streams was made by a friend of mine. This art was done by another friend of mine, and this is like this Hytale soundtrack, which they've already released a large portion of. Not a large portion of, but at least like a few tracks from. This is part of the Hytale soundtrack, remixed into lo-fi, and put into a playlist with this fan art. This is a character from the game called Gaia. Hytale has a lore, and, like, there's a story. The way that Hytale is going to work is there's an adventure mode, which has quests and a full storyline, a beginning, middle, and end, and everything. But then there's a whole multiplayer mode, which can include mini games, mods, all that good stuff. So the game's going to ship with a base RPG sandbox, like, quest story mode built in, which is what I'm most excited for, to be fair, like at least on launch. And Gaia is one of the core characters that's going to center around. That's the fucking lo-fi girl. Well, it's the lo-fi girl cosplaying Gaia. Okay, hold on. Gaia Hytale. I'll show you guys some official art. I got, like, being
wow,
that
cool stuff, man. Awesome shit, bro. The official art. No, let's see this.
Vosh is gonna hate this game. I'm gonna make the story not spoiled. I got, like, the worst, most pixelated image ever, but here you go. This is the godlike being that, as far as we can tell with the story, because they're keeping the story not spoiled, that we serve, or are, like, working for, or trying to save. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Vosh is gonna hate this game. I'm gonna make him play it. I've gotten him to look at the trailer years ago, and he's giving me shit about it not coming out yet, because the gaming community will.
Dude, that's got to sting extra hard now that he's totally out of the Vosh orbit too. So he was like, Vosh, you gonna play this game with me when it comes out, right? Vosh, you gonna play this game with me when it comes out, right? I was like, bro, that shit ain't never coming out. That shit ain't never coming. Riot killing that shit, Zan. You ain't never playing that shit. And then years pass. He's cast out of the Vosh orbit. He's out of the Vosh orbit because of the whole thing where he had that mental breakdown threatening to kill his editor and Caffles and all this shit. Over all that stuff, he got kicked out. And now kicked out, disgraced, kicked out of the cherry stuff. Yeah. Kicked out of the Vosh orbit, and now he's out alone with no Hytale. No Hytale.
On one hand, complain about crunch time and workers not having the time to create a good game and being overworked by their employers to hit certain dates just to please investors and consumers, but then at the same time complain about game getting delayed and like the dev team actually taking its time with it and having the freedom to release a game when it's done and not a buggy mess. And like, you literally will complain about either scenario, so they're just going with the one where they release a good game. That aside, Hytale came from the original EULA change that fucked over Hypixel and a ton of other Minecraft servers. That was the final straw for them, because already, like, it was very difficult for them to achieve what Hypixel wanted to be within Minecraft. Like, if you play Hypixel with what they've done with Minecraft and what they had to work with is insane. But they're still heavily limited, and what they say is they know what it's like to try to build a sandcastle in somebody else's sandbox. That's trying to build their server in Minecraft. It's too limiting, it's old, it's outdated, it's, to be fair, poorly made on a base level. And so now they've made a bespoke engine with a multi-billion-dollar budget, with a AAA publisher backing them, and now a team of over 100 people who are extremely passionate and dedicated to the game, with all the money, time, and energy that they need, and all the space they need and freedom they need to make the best game possible. This is going to be big, all right? I genuinely don't mind the naysayers at this point, because it's just going to be funnier when the game drops and ends up being, like, the biggest thing of all time. Anyway, they also dropped another trailer, actually. I'm fine bringing this segment a little further. I'm down to extend this segment by showing the second trailer that they dropped. This one's from Riot's channel. This was made by... This is the trailer that Riot released. It starts with the former Riot CEO. This Riot CEO you see in the trailer retired, like, last year or something. But the former Riot CEO talking about why he and the rest of Riot were so hyped to bring Hytale and and Hypixel, the company making it, into the Riot fold. Because if you guys know Riot's, like, thing, they see...
So he literally... Does he... This whole rest of the video is him sucking off Hytale?
There are mages that wield wands, mages that wield staffs, and mages that wield spell books. And from what we can tell, they play differently. Ooh. So that's interesting as fuck.
Oh, shit.
Establish your own identity.
There's also archers. Here's this combat.
Look, I wouldn't actually... No, I would not compare this to Star Citizen. Star Citizen is playable. You can talk as much shit on Star Citizen fans for spending years paying hundreds of dollars to reserve their fucking ships. I will talk shit on them for doing that. But that game kind of exists. Where the fuck is Hytale?
Underpinning all of this is a set of tools that are intended to help creators undertake the same sort of journey that we have. These range from advanced block building tools.
Yeah, this is less so Minecraft 2 and more so Terraria 2. I like that Xan described the hairstyle options as gay. There's a certain point where, like, you become woke enough that, like, you start... It's like a bell curve of wokeness. Or not a bell curve of wokeness. A horseshoe curve of wokeness, sorry. Where, like, at a certain point you become so woke that you realize certain things that seem problematic aren't as problematic as they seem on the surface. Mm-hmm. It's true. Some haircuts are just gay. And it's not problematic to say that.
Okay.
Eventually you become woke enough that that becomes a realization.
To an in-game modding interface that'll let you reconfigure gameplay itself. We intend to empower you to create everything from new creatures to whole new game modes.
Yeah, as long as it's
our
not
goal
an
with
insult.
these tools is to both empower the existing modding community and clear the way for a generation of new creators. We want to pave the way from creative play, expressing yourself with all the freedom the bugs provide, all the way to Creative Pro, making mods and sharing them with the community.
Wow, so exciting. Wow.
I play in private, like, you know, myself. This is Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 Mango Pack modded, and I've launched.
Okay. Let's briefly check this again. So, I mean, it is really endless here. I've got to be real.
It's kind of like Hytale. Like, basically, Fortnite's new Creative 2.0 update is what Hytale is. Like, for all intents and purposes, but Hytale obviously is going to have a lot more to it. But, like, as it's like a whole game, but, like, essentially what Fortnite Creative 2.0 does, this whole, like, new game engine, game maker thing built into Fortnite, it's really cool looking. Really neat. But they're dealing with that right now because people have been making maps.
Okay, so is that... I mean, there's loads of these, like...
I'm going to Hytale pill my audience now. I'm gonna show the original trailer, and then I'm gonna show the new gameplay they released with Arcane. There it is. Yeah.
So he just constantly spends as much time...
Anybody who likes Harry Potter is automatically transphobic.
To...
Sean
just
McCaffrey.
Hytale, constantly. He's just always going back to it.
Is Hytale. Behold the...
Fuck.
Is Hytale. This has gone from an indie project to the next big AAA blockbuster coming in the future. And that is Hytale. Behold, those of you guys who don't know about this game, welcome to the hype train.
So, okay. This one looks kind of funny. What's he saying here?
I want to be smoking a nice, like, energetic, loopy, funny, kind of giggly, what's the word for it? Giggly sativa strain. Where my sativa hose at? True. Oh, guys, by the way, Hytale update. You guys know what it is.
Oh, boy.
You guys know what it is. When they happen, I gotta tell you. We have a summer 2023 update. Now, the update itself doesn't show off anything crazy in particular in regards to gameplay. However, it does give us an update on development. Things seem to be going very well. And they just had a big get-together at Riot's headquarters in LA, where they had the now still hiring. They're still hiring more people.
Oh my god. Okay, listen. I could go through all these Hytale clips. I'm not going to. Okay, we're moving on from that bit now. You get the message. Now, guys, let's jump to recent.
I must say, I am not having a good one. It has not been a good few days since last I saw you guys, as I received some admittedly downright devastating news. Hytale, no doubt the most anticipated game of my life, has been canceled. Just completely canceled. It's done, dude. I'll be doing a whole segment about it in a little bit, but...
Seriously, I think he might have taken multiple days off to cry. I genuinely believe he might have taken multiple days off to cry about this.
I just wanted to lead with that, let you guys know I am so bummed about it, and, man, it's gonna be a while before I'm not, like, actively upset. You know, like, I am currently upset about it. Like, it is actively affecting my mood, and it will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Hang on, what is Hytale? Hawk, don't even ask. Don't even ask what Hytale is. You'll find out when I do a segment on it, but honestly, you're better off not knowing, because more likely than not, you're going to join us in lamenting our loss of its existence.
Don't even ask, man. Don't even ask. I don't want to put you through the pain that I'm in. I don't want anyone else to go through this pain. Don't even ask.
Why'd they have to rewrite the whole ass engine? Correction, why'd they have to rewrite it 3 times? And the answer is they wanted to allow it to be played by more people and last longer and perform better, but I don't know if it was the best option. TBH, I'm not surprised that it was cancelled. Yeah, the doubters were right. Get it over with. If they just stuck with Java, it'd probably be out by now. It would definitely have been out by now if they stuck with Java. The reason why it wasn't out years ago is because they decided to delay it and rewrite the engine. I'm going to talk much more about it, but yes, it's quite It's quite upsetting. I mean, I've waited 7 years for this game, dude. 7 years. Let me repeat that. 7 years.
Bro, you know what's funny? The last game I was that excited for, he was shit-talking. He was shit-talking. The last game I waited like 7 years for and was excited the whole time was Cyberpunk. That was the last one I waited years and years for. And this guy was like, Cyberpunk's gonna be disappointing when that shit comes out. Cyberpunk's gonna suck, it's gonna be disappointing. So I loved Cyberpunk when it came out. I was well happy with Cyberpunk when it came out. Where's your 8-year anticipated game, Xanderhal?
Java has worked perfectly fine for Minecraft. Well, I wouldn't say relatively or perfectly fine, to be honest. It's, Bedrock Edition exists for a reason. Well, Aimway 921, Hytale was cancelled. It's over, dude. The wait for Hytale has finally ended, and it ended in the worst possible way.
Yeah, yes, I voted for this, but it's Cyberpunk. Yeah, dude.
Makes me slightly worried for the future of Silksong, but not enough to become a doubter. I'm gonna be honest, you should never trust a game studio. Well, not a studio, but a publisher. Never trust a game publisher.
Howdy, Zam. I'm not Zam. Howdy, Zan. A Dem candidate has announced they're running for Texas governor. His name is Bobby Cole. Ah, so close to Bobby Hill. If only.
Wow.
Could it be possible they'll leak the code? I highly doubt it. I don't believe we'll get any serious leaks. Have you heard of Vintage Story? Yes, I have, Hawk. In fact, I plan for us to play some of it tonight on stream after segments, assuming we've got time. True, Catman. We're truly...
Oh, speaking of video games, guys, people gotta get on Rematch, okay? I am a Rematch shill now. Rematch goes hard as fuck. Super, super epic game. Someone asked, I don't know who, it might have been Pathos, I'm not sure if someone else. Someone asked if the skill ceiling was going to be high enough to make it interesting for a long time. But it 100% is. It actually is really fun. You can do some epic shit in it. I just found out about the unique power shots you can do. Yeah, it's a football game made by the Sifu developers. The people made Sifu and Absolver made it. Yeah, the unique power shots, where you can do like a specific combo, and you get a unique power shot, the blade shot, and shit like that is fucking awesome. Dude, that shit's so fucking cool.
In the bad timeline, that is so accurate, Grazitrite, and I was just saying that earlier.
Well, yeah, I've tried to get several gaming tournaments running, but it's just, even thinking about it is nightmarish, okay?
We talking NYC elections tonight? I'm very happy with the outcome. I don't know if we'll have time for it. Maybe tomorrow. Where were you when Hytale died? Exactly. Rip Hytale, everybody. Big R.I.P. Hytale. I cannot express to you guys how much more... Like how excited I was for this game. Like, bro. I wasn't really hyped. The Warframe update comes out tomorrow. I mean, listen, I was the most hyped, dude. Rip Hytale.
Hey, for 279, Josh, thank you.
The death of Hytale is like hearing when the Pentagon was struck. Dude, this is literally my personal 9/11, man. This is my personal 9/11. That's the only fair way to describe this. I feel like I've had a plane driven through my heart.
I'm just relishing in this guy's misery and disappointment. I'm just so glad to see this guy's favorite game isn't getting made.
It has hit the Hytale. Oh no. Might I suggest Deltarune? I promise you that it's not my kind of game. It's not gonna scratch the itch that Hytale was gonna scratch. Warframe update is the reason I still have sanity after this news. I hope you're okay. Zan, turn on the TV? What do you mean turn on the TV? What's going on? Oh, because the Pentagon has been struck. That is to say Hytale. I come in to shaved Zan? Well, you guys don't like me shaved? I even still...
Okay. So yeah, he talks about it briefly for a bit at the start here, obviously. We're going to move on to his... He did a full Hytale segment, so I think that's where the real stuff's going to be.
Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. This is a really, really hard video for me to make for a variety of reasons. I've never felt this disappointed about a wait before. I've definitely had my trust broken. I've had my heart broken by game and movie releases not being what they were hyped up to be or even coming out at all. From like games like Dead Matter to PT Silent Hills to The Day Before. And I always knew to be skeptical, but never has there been a game that came along and felt so inevitable and too good not to be true that I threw all that out the window and hung on blindly to faith that a game like this could never fail. It could never not come out. there were tons of doubters, and I would always, you know, shrug off the doubters, say the doubters are cringe, yada yada. But Hytale was a game that was announced all the way back in 2018. Well, technically, mumblings of it came...
I am going to speed this up, because we've heard the explanation of what Hytale is like 7 times in the last 10 minutes. So let's just
but it wasn't properly
this.
announced, the big trailer, until 2018, in December. And it was a massive trailer. It pulled 40 million views in the first, year it was out, and in the years that have followed, it's gotten all the way up to 60 million views on the first original announcement trailer. And since then, we have waited a colossal 7 years, until today, when we received the devastating news that Hytale's development was fully cancelled. Let me not get ahead of myself, though. I know not all of you here who are, people that were excited for Hytale followed it as closely as I did, so I'll give you guys a little bit of background. I have been so excited for Hytale since I saw its announcement. I've done everything in my power to be a part of the community that has formed around it for years now.
It's just, guys, it's so obvious. He wanted to be one of those guys at the ground level putting out videos on the new Minecraft. He wanted to try and blow up off of content on this game. You can tell. You can tell. It comes through so clearly. And now that is all dashed. It's all just gone. In an instant. Like tears in the rain. Okay.
Met some of my best friends through the Hytale community. I took part in events put together by Hytale creators and fans, such as Hytale Thankmas, in which I received a little Quebec miniature from the studio, from the dev studio, as a thank you for us all putting that event together. I felt that this was a group of people who really cared about what they were making, and this let me look past red flags in the plausibility of this game's development, and I got myself overhyped and set myself up for a massive disappointment. And I promise you, I'm not the only one. Social media has been ablaze with this news. And I know I've made this very much about me, but I was very excited for this game. It hit me hard. And so when I woke up the other day, I saw that it was canceled. I've gone through all the stages of grief, and now I'm just sort of in this bitter acceptance stage. But I really want to rewind us and talk about how we got here. Hytale was announced with a massive trailer. And
okay. So Xanderhal is going to give us some analysis on what went wrong, alright? Now, what do we think Xanderhal... Do we think Xanderhal is going to honestly interpret this? Or do we think Xanderhal is going to do everything he possibly can to fit this into a leftist perspective where the devs, the poor trans devs, couldn't possibly have done anything wrong, and the evil Chinese company is fucked everything up by desperately wanting money? Surely, right, guys? Surely he's going to be honest.
When they announced it, they added a link encouraging people to sign up for the beta. This gave people the impression that launch was relatively close, that they want people signing up. They announced the game, they want people signing up for the beta. That means within a matter of months, we might be getting a beta, and within less than a year, the game might be coming out. That was the heavily implied vibe.
This is not satire.
Right after the trailer dropped. I put many other games that I was playing on hold, thinking, in a couple months, Hytale will be out after I watched that trailer. And at first, while the wait was agonizing, and started to get a little longer than expected, at least there was a very steady stream of what were called blog posts, these sort of update posts that were full of pictures, screenshots, and videos, even some custom OST of Hytale to kind of tide us over until the launch. Over time, though, these updates started to get fewer and fewer and far between, and we started to think, well, I guess they're winding things down with communication because pretty soon they're going to announce the release date. And this was years ago, and yet years into the game's, the wait for the game. We felt confident in 2020 the game was going to drop. There was no way we weren't getting it in 2020, or at least a beta announcement in 2020. No, but instead of a beta announcement, we got the announcement of a multi-year delay, an at least 2-year delay. Necessary because they were going back to the drawing board to rebuild the engine in order to facilitate the game being playable on consoles and mobile devices, not just PC, so it would be cross-platform, and it would probably run better and just be easier to upkeep on the dev side of things. And so behind the scenes, despite the fact many people were mad about this news, for the next 2 years they started working on this new engine. And this new engine, as it turned out, ended up being development hell, from what I've been hearing. Like, that was where they just couldn't make it work. And so now, we're in this situation where Hytale is stuck in development hell, and years are going by, they're barely communicating with us. Riot is bankrolling them as a...
Now I have AIDS. Xanderhal, letter from a Seattle United Church of Christ basement.
Okay, thank you for the $10, Jim Lee. Huge appreciate, thank you.
Publisher, and apparently behind the scenes they had hit some kind of deadline, and they ran out of time. They ran out of time to make the game real. And sadly, it's not an independent studio. They weren't just being funded by a studio. They were bought by a studio, and now that they're being shut down by Riot and more or less liquidated, Riot's just going to put the Hytale IP in a vault somewhere to maybe be worked on again, maybe be touched again. But really what happened here was, like, Riot just grabbed up Hytale, and now it's up to Riot whether or not a new team ever takes up that IP and makes it a thing. That's the only way that I'm holding out hope that we get another chance at Hytale existing, is if Riot assigns a new team to the project, since they still own the IP. But no one else can make Hytale. Yeah, no, of course no one else can make Hytale. They fully own the copyright. That's how that works, KGB. So, yeah. I feel this is a cautionary tale for indie developers. Absolutely. If you're an indie game developer or aspiring indie game developer watching right now, then this is absolutely a warning that you need to keep an eye on. Anyway, to kind of give a little more of a breakdown of the situation, I've got a video here from a friend of mine and a really good Hytale content creator named Quebec Corner. He made a video talking about the cancellation of Hytale yesterday. He's just as devastated as all of us, pretty much. And he does a pretty good job of just laying out all the information, all the posts we've gotten from the people behind Hytale. I want to be clear here, no harassment to any of the devs at Hytale or anything. I don't want to, like, encourage any negativity, but, like, I'm just kind of ranting about this.
Told you so is a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. So get it out now, write your comments, and we can just get straight into things. Hytale has officially been cancelled. I haven't uploaded in 3 months, so...
I cannot believe the doubters were right, dude. I cannot believe it.
Why?
Did I know? Well, no. I had 2 videos in the works. I was planning a feature-length documentary, and when I last spoke to the team, everything seemed fine. So this really has hit me like a ton of bricks. Now, Quebecs don't swear, so I'll save the profanities for any future live streams or content I may end up doing, but the CEO of Hypixel Studios, Noxy, tweeted on June 23rd that he had shared some incredibly tough news with the Hypixel Studios team, that they are ending the development of Hytale and will also be closing down. So not just telling us, but they just told the team. Riot has officially...
It was such an abrupt post as well. Like, there was no, like, attempt to flower it up. There was very little to no corporate speak. It was just very in your face, like, straightforward. We failed. The project is done. Everything we said we could do, it was all a lie. Not a lie, but we were wrong about being able to do it. We shouldn't have promised what we promised. Like, man. It's so sad, because they implored us so strongly in their communications in the lead up to this announcement over the last 7 years of waiting to trust them.
Really? They didn't just say, this game's gonna fucking fail? Really? Wait, really? The game dev studio didn't just put out announcements that said, yeah, this sucks and we're gonna fail? No way. No freaking way.
And to try and just wait for it. It's ready when it's ready. And not to worry, because, they've got Riot's support and they've got all the time and money they need. And this was the reality of the situation, that they weren't communicating with us. It's very disappointing.
actually pulled the plug on the game. They've cut their losses after hundreds of millions have probably been invested into this project. Noxie said this is not the outcome any of us at Hypixel or at Riot wanted, but after years of pushing forward, adapting, trying to explore possibilities in every path, it became clear that they couldn't bring Hytale to life in a way that truly delivered on that promise. I mean, maybe they just had their blinders on for a while and assumed that they did have that vision and that they were aiming in the right direction, but maybe it is just a case of, you know, being in an echo chamber for years, developing a game, assuming that it's all going to work out perfectly, and then in reality, when you step outside and look at things from the perspective of, say, like a Riot executive or an investor in the game, it suddenly becomes a lot more complicated. And sadly, that's just the truth of game development. This is the industry, and we've seen this happen time and time again. Noxie said it's especially hard when you're trying to build something original that speaks to creative, passionate communities, and that over time, as their vision evolved and the genre matured,
Technoblade was ready to play Hytale. Thank you for the $2, Scapeago. It's true. Technoblade was one of the biggest content creators out there, super hyped for Hytale. And it was, you know, obviously a big tragedy that Technoblade died before getting to play this game, because he was as hyped as the rest of us were. He was on the Hytale hype train big time. He wanted to play this game before he died, no doubt. I know he did. And the fact that it will never even exist, I don't know what's more tragic. It existing but he never got to play it, or him having longed to play it, having died thinking he didn't live to get to play it, but it never ends up existing for anyone anyway. Like, which is more tragic? Like, I don't know. It is sad. It is sad. Technoblade was big on the Hypixel Hytale train. Unfortunately, we'll never get to see the promised tribute to Technoblade that the Hypixel devs promised would be in Hytale. So, unfortunate. Larry Banks 78, thank you for the $5 super chat donation. I really appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. Very base too. Says Mojang wins by doing nothing and will continue that way for years to come. I can imagine someone at Microsoft seeing Hytale canceled and let Mojang do their usual since it works for them. Yeah, it really does feel like the fire that's been under Mojang's ass since the Aquatic update has just gone out. We'll find out whether or not Mojang decides to keep up the momentum on updating the game, but with very little competition on the horizon right now, it really does feel like, yeah. Etika 2.
Bro, is Notch not literally... Dude, Notch is making a Minecraft successor. What do you mean there's no competition on the horizon for fucking Mojang? What crack are you smoking, retard?
Good point, Sorlum. I literally found out about Hytale because of Etika's reaction to Hytale. He reacted to the Hytale trailer, and that's how I saw the Hytale trailer. So as you can...
also Roblox has just been like ever expanding, basically slowly in the background, like taking over.
Imagine, like, in an awkward way, considering I found out about Hytale because of Etika. I'm sure I would have found out about it regardless, but that just happened to be the first place I saw it. Like, the dread I felt when I found out Hytale was canceled was much the same as, like, whenever Etika would have his, like, disappearance streaks. And everyone was, like, super worried about him. It's like...
Dude. It's like when Etika would go missing, he didn't know whether he killed himself. Hytale getting cancelled is just like that. It's just like when someone kills themselves. Bro.
Man. Well, like, this is just, you know, I'm crying over internet shit now. I'm crying over internet shit, but it's sad. It really is. Man.
But around them, the bar just kept on rising.
He's like actually cut up about it.
Sad.
They wanted to do
that shit, but it's sad. It really is. Man.
But around them, the bar just kept on rising.
Sad.
They wanted to do more.
He's having to collect
they
himself.
wanted to get more.
Dude, he's having to collect himself. He's choked up.
complex, and even after a major reboot of the game engine, having to go back and rewrite everything, it apparently became clear to them that they'd need a lot more time to get it to a place where it could support the ambitious vision that they had. I want to stop for a minute because I don't want to just read out what he tweeted. I want to take a second to just, you know, take this impact and a deep breath with you guys. It's not often that I go improv and avoid a script for a video, but in this one, I really do only have a few bullet points. I want to talk from the heart, and besides reading out this tweet, I just wanted to let you guys know that, you know, I get it. It sucks. We've been waiting for this game for 6 years, and to hear this, you know, the cold, hard truth of it is something that, from our perspective, doesn't make any sense. You know, they've been communicating with us, and they've been saying that their communication has been...
Look how fucking pleasant the game looks, too.
It
looks like the kind of world that you just want to vibe out in. You know? Like, you just see this, and you're like, I want to cut down some of those trees. I want to find a nice spot to build a cabin, and I just want to chill out and listen to the fire crackle.
Dude.
And mind you, as nice as all this looks, this was work in progress. They assured us through the entire development, keep in mind, this isn't even how nice the game's going to look on launch. It's going to look nicer. This is all still work in progress, as you see on the top left of the screen. Obviously not anymore, but it's just... it's so tragic. Truly, like, the closest to scratching this itch you can get these days now is going to be playing Vintage Story. Like, down to the zone design and, like, the design of the biomes, like, Vintage Story definitely evokes a familiar feeling. As it should, because the Vintage Story developer is an ex-Hytale developer and is probably largely themselves responsible for much of the flourish and flavor of what we recognize in Hytale.
Dude, there's 1,000,001 fucking block games you can play, buddy. Okay? Go play a different block game. I'm sorry, but this guy, like, literally wasn't even excited for the actual platform features, like the modding shit. He was talking entirely about the RPG elements. Go play Trove, dude. Go play the old build of Cube World. Fuck were you waiting for Hytale for?
It kind of makes sense.
Been transparent and updated, so it does hurt to know that deep down on the inside they knew that they weren't reaching what they needed to reach to get to where they needed to be. They tried to reduce scope, they adjusted timelines, they tried to find new angles to keep moving forward, but just every time that they had an option, it meant compromising on what made Hytale special in the first place. They were just going to end up with another standard game, you know, just one of these titles that doesn't change the industry, and we know that Hypixel Studios wanted to do that from the get-go. He said this is a painful...
Like, look how pretty the foliage and, like, environment looks, dude. Like, the fact that...
It's fucking blocks, bro. It's fucking blocks. Guys, look at the block foliage. It looks so... Dude, the block foliage looks beautiful. Oh my god. Play Roblox, bro. Go play Roblox. There's 1,000,000 fucking games you can play that look like this, Xanderhal.
It's a block game, too. That's what's so, like, bizarre to me about what even took so long, you know? Is that it's a block game. I get that a block game is...
You didn't take that as a warning sign? You didn't take 7 years on a block game as, like, a warning sign, Xanderhal? Didn't make you stop and think, why the fuck's this taking 7 years?
You can, like, throw together immediately, but, like, man, it feels like it's not that hard of a game type to make, right? Like, this kind of game, like, the basis of it feels like it should be something relatively simple to create.
Yeah, you think so?
You know, one man did it in a cave with a box of scraps. His name was Notch. And so, like...
Wow. Epic Marvel reference.
I don't know. It's frustrating to me that, like, so many people are going to come out of this thinking, you should have always known this was going to fail. How could a game like this, you know, a game that outdoes Minecraft, ever actually exist? It's like, no, Minecraft actually is not the greatest execution of the genre it's basically defined and started. we need another step forward.
Dude,
we
that's
need
not
that
anyone's
next evolution that pushes the bar of what a blocky sandbox can be. This game was going to be an RPG with a storyline and questing and stuff, at least in the adventure mode. Extensive modding support, extensive server and community support.
Okay, we've got groundbreaking commentary coming in from Veto Comedy here. At Veto Comedy on Twitter. I think the multimillionaire YouTuber trying to bankrupt people with lawsuits because they technically stole a few $100s in ad revenue from him is the bad guy, actually. Shocking that this is actually... This seems to be a difficult take to arrive at. This is a difficult take for many people to arrive at.
It's just... This was supposed to be the next big evolution. Not necessarily the Minecraft killer, but like... You know, like... It was supposed to be almost the half-life of the block game genre. Just taking things to a whole other level that people never thought was possible.
Change the industry, and we know that Hypixel Studios wanted to do that from the get-go. He said this is a painful decision, but we still believe in Hytale, we believe in the team, and are forever grateful of every member, past or present, who poured their love into the game.
The team are really good people. Every single team member I've spoken to or interacted with has been extremely, like, based and kind. So I will say that. Obviously, I mean no ill will towards the team. If anything, management is where I have the biggest quarrel, and particularly Riot. The only way Riot's going to get any forgiveness out of me is if they reassign the IP to a new in-house studio and actually get to work on producing Hytale. Like, imagine their plan. God, could you imagine? Could you imagine the reason that Riot put the Runeterra MMO on ice is because they plan to assign that in-house studio team to making Hytale? Oh. That's the only way the game gets saved, by the way. Is if Riot decides they'll assign that IP to a team, and they ensure that team gets the job done and gets it done well. Will it even be the same game at that point? Will it even be, like, close to the same game at that point? I don't know. I have my doubts. But at least it'd be something, you know? It wouldn't be Hytale gone forever. But like I said, take that with a very small grain of salt, okay? That is going to be a very unlikely scenario, but it's not impossible. Crazier things have happened. This is my copium.
We're also incredibly proud of the work we did, the world we imagined, the risks we took, and the heart we poured into the project. None of that can be taken away, and just to clarify, this doesn't affect anyone in the Hypixel server on Minecraft. It's run separately from Hypixel Studios and will continue to operate. So a nice clarification there, and it's good to see that the team still believe in Hytale. That phrase is, you know, a little bit abstract. What does that mean? Does it mean that they still believe in all of the things that made Hytale what it is, all of the things that it stood for as a game, as a platform? Or does it mean that they still believe in it as a project, that they want to try to get this to other game publishers that may pick this up or maybe reinvest in it? That aside, you probably imagine everyone is pointing their fingers at Riot. It was Riot that's done this. It's them that's cut the team off. It's them that's closed down the game. And, you know, they...
Now, to be clear, this is the old CEO, who, by the way, was investigated for sexual harassment claims because he was allegedly sexually harassing, like, his secretary or something. And he left the company a couple years ago with a big old golden parachute. He sold a bunch of his stock options. So many, mind you, that Yahoo Finance doesn't even display how many shares he sold when he left the company.
I
will tell you, though,
I'm sorry, Mr. Dono. Thank you, that guy 66. Guys, I just got to hear what Minecraft pod is this. Thank you, huge appreciate it, thank you.
CEO, when he signed on, got 2.6 million shares of Riot, roughly, like 2.67 million shares of Riot, and Riot at that time was worth a little over $10 per share. Might give you a little perspective on how big this guy, Nicolo Laurent's golden parachute was, but for all of the complaints I have about this dude, he did seem like he was a big cheerleader for Hytale. As CEO of Riot, he seemed like he made it a personal goal of his to see Hytale to its completion. And whatever new CEO is in charge of Riot now just saw the quarterly, like, losses, the lack of, I guess, progress made, and was like, what is this? Why are we spending so much money on this? And gave them a deadline that they just couldn't hit. I don't know if this guy would have done the same.
Had to address that, of course. They said they're deeply grateful to Riot, not just for the years of support and opportunities that they gave, but for
wait. Was this guy outed as a sexual harasser? Sorry, I'm going to wind this back.
Game as a platform, or does it mean that they still believe in it as a project, that they want to trying to get this to other game publishers that may pick this up or maybe reinvest in it? That aside, you probably imagine everyone is pointing their fingers at Riot. It was Riot that's done this. It's them that's cut the team off. It's them that's closed down the game. And, you know, they...
Now, to be clear, this is the old CEO, who, by the way, was investigated for sexual harassment claims because he was allegedly sexually harassing, like, his secretary or something. And he left the company a couple years ago with a big old golden parachute. He sold a bunch of his stock options. So many, mind you, that Yahoo Finance doesn't even display how many shares he sold when he left the company. I will tell you, though, the new CEO, when he signed on, got 2.6 million shares of Riot, roughly, like 2.67 million shares of Riot. And Riot at that time was worth a little over $10 per share. Might give you a little perspective on how big this guy, Niccolo Laurent's golden parachute was, but for all of the complaints I have about this dude, he did seem like he was a big cheerleader for Hytale. As CEO of Riot, he seemed like he made it a personal goal of his to see Hytale to its completion, and whatever new CEO is in charge of Riot now just saw the quarterly, like, losses, the lack of, I guess, progress made, and was like...
So yeah, he's saying, like, listen, this guy might have been a sexual harasser, but he wasn't such a you know, money-grabbing capitalist, as whoever the new guy is. This guy would have let Hytale be developed. This guy wouldn't have killed Hytale. He rapes, but he saves.
What is this? Why are we spending so much money on this? And gave them a deadline that they just couldn't hit. I don't know if this guy would have done the same.
Had to address that, of course. They said they're deeply grateful to Riot, not just for the years of support and opportunities that they gave, but for the care, showing their team how to grow during the transition. Apparently, they supported them in going out into the world as well to see if there were any extra investors or acquirers who maybe wanted to carry Hytale forward or buy it from Riot. And now, as they begin winding things down, they're ensuring that their team is supported with generous severance and resources to help them find what's next. So clear from that statement that they did actually try to go and find buyers for Hytale, but apparently were unsuccessful, which isn't a surprise because it's a big project with hundreds of millions invested into it, so to buy the thing would probably be an immense amount of money, and I imagine all the other studios are distracted working on their own things. Not to mention, the team originally did have lots of offers from these big companies back in 2020. It was
like, it feels like there was enough done of the game in some existing build somewhere that a arguably playable, enjoyable version of Hytale.
Dude, he wants it so bad. It's like it's being dangled just out of reach. He's like coming up with ways. So maybe there's a version of it that's like playable with.
Hytale exists somewhere on a drive. Now, we have to obtain it. All right, folks? We have to obtain it. There's got to be a way.
Look, people manage it. You can mock this, but people actually did achieve this with Battlefront 3, no? Did they not manage to make Battlefront 3 playable? Wasn't that a thing? People are hunting for the Chinese Borderlands MMO right now.
There has got to be a way.
Remember when there was going to be a Halo MMO as well in the 2000s? You remember that shit?
Whatever build they're playing here, there has got to be a way to obtain it. Alright. The same with me and Rockstar Games agent. Somebody someday is going to be our hero. Our Jesus Christ, who sacrifices themselves for our sins, and goes and breaks into some Riot, like, headquarters vault somewhere, and grabs up all of the remaining copies of Hytale's, like, in-dev builds. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, it's gonna be like a Area 51 raid, exactly. Just everyone running with, like, a Naruto run straight towards the building. I have hope earlier this year a bunch of Rockstar game betas were found. Oh, really? Damn. Yeah, I mean, I feel like never has there been a case in which a leaked version of a game has been so desired and so plausible to happen. There were over 150 people working on the game, and I think more who had access to working copies of Hytale at some point or another. So it could happen someday. It's possible.
Them that chose Riot out of the pool of people that were trying to invest in the game. They say to their community, thank you, your belief in Hytale kept us going through thick and thin, your energy, creativity, and support inspired us to do the best work
Xanderhal doing stochastic terrorism to try and get a copy of Hytale right now.
of our lives, and even though we won't be the ones to bring this game into the world, we still believe in what it stood for and in the incredible potential of this.
That was an interesting line, by the way. Even though we won't be the ones to bring this game into the world, that low-key implies not that there are plans, but that it is just open knowledge that the IP could potentially be worked with again by Riot. But it won't be by this team, obviously. Hypixel Studios is shutting down. If Hytale ever does end up existing, it'll be at the hands of an in-house dev studio that is Riot. It'll be Riot Studios, most likely, that develops and produces Hytale, should it ever actually come to fruition. And even if it does, even the start of that development could be years out. And you know, if Hytale is ever to exist one day, and that's a big, big if, we are probably a decade out, assuming they started on it anytime soon. It is...
Dude.
It really sucks.
How long do you think a game like this takes to make, bro? This guy's like actually smoking crack. This should not take a fucking decade to produce.
This is like the worst possible case scenario for this game. We waited the longest amount of time really plausible before they could have canceled it. You know, like, at this point, it's like, if they had given us, like, another year or two and then canceled it, oh my god, I think the shit show would have been even larger.
Genre. So, again, alluding to the idea that maybe Hytale can be brought...
No, even less people would care.
Brought into the world in some way, just not by this team. Noxie finishes by saying, even though we're closing this chapter, the spirit of Hytale and everything we hoped it could be will stay with us. We're proud of what we built and we'll carry those lessons forward for whatever comes next. A lovely sentiment, I'm sure, but this is, you know, it's disappointing news. It's really rocked everyone for 10 in the community. I hopped into a VC with a bunch of people when this news dropped. You can imagine my phone, amongst anyone in the world, was vibrating at an unnatural speed. Like, that thing was going crazy. I woke up and just beep, 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 message DMs from every YouTuber that I've ever mentioned Hytale to, people just sharing it and talking about it in Discords, messages from even people on the team. It's just been non-stop and crazy, so obviously, like, I've had to take a little deep breath and realize, oh, this, you know, means, yeah, that game that I cover on that channel, you know, it's not going to be out. It's not going to come to fruition, and yeah, that does suck, you know, but things continue onwards. As I say, like, while it sucks for me, covering news on the game has been a lot of fun over the years, it sucks more for the team. You know, this channel, Quebec Corner, is a hobby of mine, and it's a privileged hobby. I enjoy covering the news for this game that isn't out yet, but I'm lucky enough behind the scenes to be working with a bunch of really cool creators and channels. Like, I consult on things, I come on and do strategy, I grow teams, and even help coach different parts of their production pipeline, like editing.
He's actually so fucking choked up right now, bro. It's crazy. Oh my god, look at this guy.
Channel, Quebec Corner, is a hobby of mine, and it's a privileged hobby. I enjoy covering the news for this game that isn't out yet, but I'm lucky enough behind the scenes to be working with a bunch of really cool creators and channels. Like, I consult on things, I come on and do strategy, I grow teams, and even help coach different parts of their production pipeline, like editing and their script writing, to make better content. That's what I do.
I really like Quebec Corner. He's a cool guy. This is like the main gist of him talking about the cancellation itself. From here, he kind of talks about the future of his channel and, you know, the impact that it's had on the community of Hytale. And I've already talked enough about that, I think. So here's where I'm going to end our watching of Quebec Corners video. But if you want to watch the rest of it or go subscribe to him, there'll be a link down below in the description. He's not just going to do Hytale stuff. Obviously, he's now looking so good. It's over 2 hours long.
Is that it?
Talks about the future of Quebec Corners video, but if he's not just going to do Hytale. In fact, for those that don't know, he actually made a really, really good documentary video a couple years back with the help of a friend of mine helping to produce. Find it. Here it is. Long. So it's a video in general. I'll drop a link
we don't care.
In both chats. But before I wrap up this segment, I want to give you guys a ray of hope. Okay? If you're like
guys,
me,
okay, a ray of hope. Let's go.
the loss of Hytale has left you with a gaping hole in your heart. And if you need something that you think might even just kinda help to fill that hole, then I've got a few suggestions. The first and most common suggestion, and most of you have probably already heard this one, so, you know, disregard if you already know this one, and it's, you know, not for you or whatever, but Vintage Story. Vintage Story, believe it or not, let me see if I can find a trailer for it. Vintage Story was made by an ex-Hytale dev who left the team due to creative differences quite a few years ago, and has since, for several years now, had a constantly updated, well-supported, well-running and operating, like it works, not finished, but working, delivered product out there for people to play for years now. And this is someone who is working on Hytale early on. This is someone who is probably more familiar with what the original vision of Hytale was than most that ended up on the team later. And they made this game, and it is very good. Here is the Vintage Story trailer. This is the closest you're going to get to scratching the Hytale itch, I promise you. It's a very hard game, though. If you only do what is easy, your life will be hard. It's very fun. And it's out. You can go play it right now. We're going to play it a little later.
Okay, this looks like shit. Gonna be real. Do not give a fuck.
This you'll get. You can actually they were beta. Thank you. So definitely were depends on behind the kind of breaking out of the sort of bounds that is you know, the block game genre. Another game I highly recommend.
Well, listen, I'm gonna be right. I think the best part's sort of over here. I think there is one extra bit here. So this is just the last little bit of him talking about this.
But at the end of the day, all I can say is, I know this isn't the type of stuff I usually talk about on my channel, but I feel so personally affected by it, I had to talk about it. And, you know, if you enjoyed it, if you found it entertaining, educational in any way, then consider dropping a like and a comment down below on the video. It really does help a lot. Helps to force YouTube to push my content out to more people in the algorithm, which I really appreciate. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the future. And if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you could follow my social medias linked down below, but I especially recommend you join my fan Discord, as it's the main hub of my community and fan base. And on top of all that, I host gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, and movie nights there every week. Sadly, I won't be hosting one there tonight. I'm a little sad today, and I'm not quite in the mood for it, as you can imagine, but...
So he's too depressed to do his Discord watch party, because Hytale has been cancelled. He's too depressed for the Discord watch party.
I really do appreciate you guys just being a part of the community. Finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xanderhal studio, then please consider donating, subscribe.
The Xanderhal studio. The Xanderhal studio. The studio. Why? Was Xanderhal the last guy that I mocked for saying studio? I felt there was someone else that calls their fucking dog shit streaming setup a studio. It's like so crazy. You're calling this shit your studio. Bro, it looks like a church basement. You're in the function room. You've got the fold-out table with dumbbells on it behind you that you don't use. Be serious now. Be honest now.
Or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhal.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xanderhal merch through the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless of how you support me, thank you all so much as always, and have a good one. Man.
Huh?
What a fucking bummer. What a fucking bummer of a topic, dude. I did, Andrew, I did. Everyone's been talking about it in chat. I keep acknowledging it, but at this point, I can't keep saying yeah. Anyway, thank you to everybody for your kind words and the support. It really does mean a lot. I'm having a bit of a down day, to say the least, a down last couple days. So it really does make me feel better to see so many of you guys here, all your kind words, all your support. I'm just in a bad mood. I'm just sad, you know? It's like losing a loved one, you know? I'm...
The comparisons are so crazy. He's actually the worst thing's ever happened to him.
Fucking bummed, dude. And you guys are absolutely cheering me up just by being here. It really does mean a lot. You guys, you know, it's good. It feels good to talk to you guys about, frankly, anything. But this in particular, with how much it's just ripped me up inside, dude, it's really nice to be able to talk to y'all about it. Chris,
Dude, getting emotional support about a cancelled game from your fucking live stream chat. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong.
7-3, thank you for the tier 3 sub. Hot damn, thank you so much. I don't want to undercredit you, by the way. How many months is that? Was that a 3-monther? I don't want to credit you for just one if it's 3. Just letting you know. I mean, obviously, I highly appreciate if it's 1, but, you know, I just don't want to undercredit. Three months. Hot damn, Chris473. I'm glad I asked. I would have felt bad had I, like, under.
Dude, Spinal calling Marcus a pedophile was awesome, man. I was watching one of his stream earlier. He's just calling Marcus a pedophile again and again. Fucking epic. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are around for I guess I'll explain this briefly. I don't know if you guys saw this stuff. Obviously, I was off stream yesterday. I did go on Aiden's stream briefly. So, basically what happened was, this guy Marcus, March Baby, the melon dog, so he's been getting warned by several other users, other content creators and Discord users, for like a month or something, maybe a few weeks. Yeah, he does stream, yeah. That it would probably be a wise idea, he's been being warned, it'd probably be a wise idea to stop allowing minors in his Discord server. For what hopefully should be obvious reasons. Now, Marcus, March Baby, obviously has a lot of crossover with a lot of commentary people. Like Morale. And so, Marcus and others like to post in his server about Cunny. And post lolly gifs and say Cunny. And do all sorts of other stuff like that. Well, so, that doesn't exactly mix well with having a policy of allowing under 18s. So, I did speak to him on Aiden's channel, briefly. I had to explain to him why it's a very stupid thing to do. He did concede relatively quickly, however, he kept sort of justifying and making, coming up with like reasons or analogies or comparisons that made it not be as bad, or made it be like, he was trying to be like, it doesn't really make sense as standard. And he initially said he only allows 16 and 17-year-olds, and then we found out there was a 15-year-old. Need to go pull up his argument. What argument? Oh. Yeah, so he started arguing basically, well, if you're going to ban kids, why don't you ban Spinal too? If you have to ban kids from Discords, why don't you have to ban Spinal? Because Spinal's an adult. Yeah, but he's weird and degenerate. I just don't think that's good to have around. Okay, and? And then Spinal, as a result, got on his stream earlier. Yes, I heard. So Spinal did a stream earlier. Basically, apparently Marcus has called Spinal a pedophile a lot in the past. And Spinal did a stream earlier that he opened with a version of Not Like Us, but with a lolly AI voice filter on it. And then started popping off for like an hour or two about how Marcus is more of a pedophile than him. How there's more reason to think Marcus is a pedophile than to think he is a pedophile. And just calling him a pedophile. Which I have to say, I don't always support Spinal, but if someone's gonna drag your name through the mud like that, just trying to defend themselves, then I feel like you do get it's fair enough to take your shots, you know.
Counted. Your contribution, thank you so freaking much. You are immensely generous. It says unrelated and maybe cringe, but for people who still support Trump, we should diagnose them with Trump suckling syndrome.
What was that? I think I quoted something he said. I think I quoted something he said somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, he said, "You're a 22-year-old married man who's headstrong in having minors in your server. You're a pedophile." Dude.
Or TSS. The right have TDS after all. You know what? That is actually a good one. Trump. How about Trump glazing syndrome? TGS. I feel like that kind of rolls off a little better. But you were on the right track. Thank you for the tier 3 sub, Chris. It really does mean a lot. Let me update the dono goal really fast to reflect you guys' generosity in the chat today. And then I'm going to go AFK for just a moment to run upstairs and grab myself a water. I am so
Wow.
thirsty.
Well, that's the end of that. So that's all the Xanderhal stuff. There we go. The Hytale Xanderhal stuff's done. That's that.